And now, Insights with Terri Ep., a weekly look through the eyes of predictive astrologer Terri Ep. Here's Terri.
Good day, everyone. This is Terri, and you're listening to Insights with Terri Ep. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate that. We are going to be working with the week of October the 3rd through October the 9th, 2022. We have some planets that are just starting to settle in. We've had a lot of Mercury retrogrades that we've had to navigate our way through to maybe look behind so that we can see what we need to do, learn from our own history and the history of humanity, the history of the world, and then move forward with that information. So as some of these retrogrades start to settle in and move forward, we should have spent some time looking at that and maybe have kind of an idea of what we need to do for ourselves individually and our community to move forward and make a new start. That, for me, is particularly poignant when we look at what we've experienced this week with the unsettled weather and the energy that is moving around in such a volatile way, causing these hurricanes, encouraging superstorms, both in Florida and on Canadian East Coast. So talk about having to move forward. Looking at some of those pictures, I can't imagine where would you start looking at that devastation, trying to put a plan together, having people pull together and maybe looking at you and you've lost everything and saying, what can I help you with? What answer could you give? How could you even start an answer like that? So that's where the energy is right now, is trying to make a plan for all of us individually and moving forward. Now, we still have that Libra energy, that zodiac sign Libra, and that's ruled by Venus, and that's still in the sun sign. So that always craves balance, trying to strike a balance in our lives with our work, with our family, with our alone time, with our social time, and trying to get that in the healthiest way that we can. Venus is the planet of attraction, so we tend to maybe overspend during this time. We have to watch that, or overeat. It's attraction. We're attracted to everything, and Libra is also in the planet. Is in the zodiac sign Venus. So we have a double whammy there. So I myself personally try as hard as I can to stay out of the stores during this time, because I'll buy things that I don't necessarily mean because of that attraction to everything shiny, maybe good quality cookware, and you've already got something that's decent. It doesn't make sense, some of the purchases that we make. Or maybe we're making a purchase that we feel is necessary, but this puts pressure on us to overspend or overindulge. So just keep an eye on yourself, that you don't get caught in that trap. Also, now online being so available to us, that's another thing that I try to stay away from, is the shopping channel, Amazon. Not that they're bad, but during this time we tend to click enter a little bit too fast, and then we have the regret possibly later. Not always, but possibly. So just keep an eye on yourself. Why am I buying this, and what am I doing, and what do I hope to accomplish with this? Mercury, the planet of the mind, how we think, how we communicate, that is still in Virgo. It was going retrograde for approximately 3 weeks. It has just gone direct on the 2nd of October. Now, when planets change positions, it can become a little bit more volatile, a little bit more unsettled. So we can't say that we've got a pass here just yet. I kind of watch myself for a few days just to make sure that it settles in and it's happy going direct. During that change, we tend to not have good spatial adjustments. We're not able to be as good. You can't get that moth out of the air with your hand like the Karate Kid. trying to get the cup off of the counter can end up with a spill on the ground. We're just spatially deficient during this time. People do tend to fall. Our immune system isn't as up to date as it should be, up to snuff. So just be very careful with yourself during this time. If I'm walking on uneven ground, which I usually am, tend to maybe keep an eye on it. Watch where you walk. Don't trust that the ground is going to be necessarily flat. Watch how you're putting your foot down. This is the time we trip on weeds. This is where accidents happen. So we'll be out of this by the end of the week. Just be a little bit more careful if you can through this time. And as I said, we've got that double Libra energy whammy. So that's, again, not just the buying and the attraction. We'll want relationships. Venus in that position isn't happy alone necessarily. So this would be the time that if you were single, you'd entertain an energy that would try to push you more towards having a partner. If you are looking for a partner in a work situation, this is the time to pick one out, because we tend to make better choices with partnership during this Libra intervention. If you are alone and you're looking for a partner, pull on that Virgo in Mercury right now, because that's more discriminating. It would help you balance yourself a little bit more, so you don't just grab anybody and then have buyer's remorse in a relationship. It's always hard getting out of a relationship. Nobody wants to hurt somebody else's feelings, I would like to think. And it's very difficult when you have to look at a person and say, I don't love you anymore, or I was mistaken, I don't care for you the way I did. I can't even imagine how hard that would be. So don't put yourself in that position if you don't have to. Call on that Virgo energy in Mercury to help you make good decisions. Mars, the planet of our passion, our drive, that's our kind of excited warrior planet. It's the red planet. That's still in Gemini. Gemini energy here expresses itself in curiosity and wanting to explore, wanting to have maybe a new type of book or project that we're working on. So it's an interested, alert kind of energy field, which I love, because I like new conversation. I don't like talking about the same thing all the time. It just adds a little different flavor to your soup. So don't be afraid to mix your friends up a little bit. Don't reach out and maybe make some new friends, and see if there's some interesting new stories out there that you can garner from these new friends. So it's an opportunity to just be curious and activate your mind. I have one of my dogs is a is a Gemini, not just the sun sign, but it goes all through his chart. And honestly, that dog's nose is in everything. If I open something, if I open maybe a bag of dog food, he's got to see what's in there. If I'm carrying something into the house from the car, he's got to check everything out. He's not trying to destroy. He is not trying to eat anything. He just wants to look at it all and see what's in there and what have you got, what new thing is coming in the house. Life for him is one big present, so he gets to look at it. He has his nose in everything. He's the most curious, interested, intelligent dogs I've been able to have some time with. So that's the type of energy that this is. And he loves new dogs. He loves to explore new dogs, see what they've got to offer, see what kind of new games they play. He's just always curious. So, and that's a really exciting energy to be around. Now, health-wise, through the beginning of the week, I would say probably the weekend, some of the sensitive people might have noticed it. We're going into Capricorn energy. Now, that's going to be quite strong. So joints, knees, your back, if you have a bad back, it might jump at you. Be really careful. If you wear a back brace and you're just feeling a little tweak, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to be a baby. Put it on just in case. This is an energy field that really crucifies us when it comes to the joints. And if you have any Capricorn in your own chart, it can exacerbate it. So just, watch what you eat. Is it inflammatory? Just be careful of your food choices. This is not a time to really imbibe in the sugars, because that adds to inflation. Inflation, I'm sorry. Oh my God, Mercury's not retrograde for me in a good way here. Inflammation. So that inflammation in our knees, our ankles, our hips, all of your joints, your elbows, wherever you're normally sore, this can really target. Now, this is not a health thing, so just ignore me. I'm not a doctor. I don't have any credentials whatsoever. But sometimes during this inflammation type of an energy field, if you do like warm and you can tolerate a heating pad and you have a thumb that's sore or a knee that's sore, you could think about wrapping that knee or that thumb or that elbow with a heating pad. What it does is it helps to prevent any arthritis from moving forward and maybe having babies and working to another joint. So any bacteria, virus, and that's what arthritis is a virus, dies at 99.9. So that's why our bodies create a fever, so that we can kill bacteria, microbes, and viruses. And what do? As soon as we get a fever, we take an aspirin to lower the fever. That's like taking a sword away from the warrior and say, go fight the war. Now, we don't want a high fever to damage the body, but if we can tolerate a little bit of a fever, that will help kill these little critters. So if you're having a more difficult time with your joints, don't be afraid of the heating pad. It might stop it from going too far. Then about the middle of the week, it can move from the joints down to, if you're vulnerable, in the calf area, your ankles, your shins, the Achilles heel. This is a time sometimes where we could be more prone to hurting our Achilles heel, ACL, any of the tendon type joints or ligaments that are attached in that area. Just be real watchy with that. And if you're vulnerable, take care of it. That's all you have to do. Just take care of it. Then towards the end of the week, it starts moving down towards the toes and the feet. The pineal gland as well it might be activated. That's that psychic member. So if you are interested at all in trying to develop that psychic intuition or that ability to just know, this isn't a bad time to play with your pendulum or your tarot cards or any of the tools that you use to try to make contact to the other side or your own unconscious or subconscious. That's a really good time to do that towards the end of the week and the weekend, if you have any time. The beginning of next week, we'll talk about it, but we're looking at anything head, after the feet comes the head, anything head related. So if you're prone to headaches or migraines, it could put a little pressure on you. So you're, kind of take care of that. We have a full moon as well coming up, and that full moon is going to be in Aries, and Aries rules the head, so that's going to give you a double energy field. So that's a fire sign. Aries, being a fire sign, can lend itself to a little bit more volatility, but it can also be a healing energy. As I mentioned earlier, the heating pad, fire, heat, energy. So it's got the power to bring things to a rapid boil. If you're in a bad position, that's not so good. We don't want our pots boiling over. If you're in a good position, it might be okay. So things can get heated up. So if you're in an unstable, difficult situation with that heating up, keep an eye on it. You don't want it to overflow. I'm constantly overflowing my pots. That's why I tend to stay away from the oven and the stove. They're dangerous for me. But it's an opportunity for release. So if you look at that pot that's starting to boil over and you lift the lid, you take that pressure off and it's a release. So we're being offered an opportunity to release some of this too, if we want to do this. We can turn wounds into portals of power during this time. It's that much energy. Yay! The animal that was given to us for this week is the waxwing. Now, when I looked that up, I wasn't familiar with it. And I found out that it's part of the cardinal family. Not as, well, I shouldn't say not as pretty as the cardinal. That wouldn't be fair to the waxwing, would it? but it's not as striking. How can we say that? It's just not as striking. So when we look at the energy that the waxwing has to offer us, it's considered a very gentle, very kind, very courteous type of bird. They're not miserable like some of the blue jays will go bop your hat off or attack other birds. So it's a very gentle bird. Mostly it's seen in the summer. It's kind of a brown, light chocolate color with little traces of mauve and pink and bright yellow band. So it's not plain. It's a nice grounded kind of color. Now, it heralds transformations because it's got a little bit of a mask on its face, a little bit of a black chin and a mask. And masks, we know, are tools for transformation. So the mask transforms an ordinary person into Batman. So if you need transformation in your life, this bird, this energy, you can call on that this week and help you entertain transformation in your life. Now, most of us, myself included, we fear change, and I fear transition. I try not to, really and truly, but if I was honest with myself, when things change without my permission, it feels traumatic, and it can feel traumatic for all of you as well, unless you're, maybe an Aquarius or somebody that invites this kind of chaos. Look at what the people are doing that are in the aftermath of those hurricanes. There's a lot of transformation there and a lot of trauma. So the waxwing can show us how to change and how that transformation can occur as gently and easily as we desire. So we have some of that energy field that we can maybe push that by our intention. How fast do I want this to happen? How fast do I want new dimensions into my life, pushing out the old? So we have that to help us through this week, and that gentle energy, that polite energy. Don't be afraid to pull that forward through this week. The waxwings are known to pass food to each other. I was watching a video of them. And so if it's come into our life, it might be that we need to experience gentleness, or we need to offer gentleness to somebody. And are we missing gentleness in our own life? And are we extending that courtesy that others deserve, or even to ourselves that maybe we deserve? So we need to look at that and maybe start seeing ourselves and others in a little bit new perspective with that gentleness. And really look at, are you being gentle? I notice a lot of people that come for readings, I'd like them to leave with knowing that they need to be gentle enough for themselves as well. And awaken, maybe if that gentleness has gone to sleep, maybe awaken some of that gentleness. That it's a true virtue, being gentle and kind. So that is what was offered to us in our animal totem. Quickly, number 1 is the number that was offered to us for this week. Number 1 normally is a leader, right? The number 1 in the Star Trek Enterprise, number 1 leader. It offers courage and inspiration. It's active, it's creative, pairing beautifully with that Gemini energy in Mars. It's priority to individual success. So if you are looking at accomplishing something, if you're on your own, taking not that Libra energy of partnership, but maybe working on your own, it'll help you with that individuality, and then you can partner with somebody, and so that gives you the ability to use that initiative and own that determination to succeed. Pairing that with the Libra and the number 1, we tend to be able to devote more time to other people. And we're good at praising. So you take that waxwing, you take the Libra energy, you take the gentleness, the kindness, the sharing. So praise. A lot of people need some praise right now. They need some encouragement. So don't be afraid to share that at all. Libra likes to share. Now, weaknesses in the number 1 is domineering. It's maybe superiority, maybe a little stubbornness, maybe hesitating to find your own way and leaning too hard on a partner, or expecting a partner to be there for you and not work on your own individuality. So maybe not helping others the way we should, and maybe feeling a little lonely. So those are the disadvantages of number 1. So don't fall into that pit if you can help it. The tarot cards that were offered to us this week is watch work. For some of us, we may not have work, so it was the work card upside down. That can indicate unemployment. It can indicate instability in our workplace. So if you recognize instability where you work, don't add fuel to the fire here. See what you can do to minimize it or to make it a little bit more stable. Pull on that waxwing energy. Pull on that Libra to try to be offering a commonality to everybody. We have that to offer to other people. And the other one was the May the Force be with you, the Ace of Swords. Ace being high, swords being the mind. That's the force. So the intention, what we need, that's pairing with that work energy. So maybe many work situations need help. And we can do that by not adding to the chaos with our intention, whining, crying, belly aching. Maybe we need to be more grateful using the magic of gratitude, which is if you're in a real crampy situation, try to look at 10 things. Sometimes it's hard. I was in the ER not that long ago, waiting for 6 hours, and I was trying to find 10 things. Can I find 10 things good about this situation? Boy, did I have to dig deep. But I wasn't standing out in the rain. I had a roof over my head. I now had a chair to sit in. And so I went on, and I did find 10 things, and actually it made me feel a little bit better. And the book I was reading was good. So really, come on, Terry. So that's what this mental force is, the Ace of Swords. Find something good about the situation, and then you'll be passing good energy on. That's what we have for this week, folks. I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for joining me. If you need a reading for yourself, you can text or call 519-726-6699, or you can email me at Terri, Terri.Coutts, Coutts @gmail.com. And a big thanks to Charlie O'Brien, who loads this on so many avenues: Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, Amazon. And he has it on the website if you missed a podcast and you want to go back and refer to it, if there was something you weren't sure of. He's got it archived on the website, www.terriworld.com. Big thanks to Charlie O'Brien. He's your digital master. I wanted to say monster, but he's not really a monster. And he has this great voice. You should turn into his radio show. He's got one of those voices that make your knees weak. So thanks again to Charlie O'Brien. Everybody have a good week, and God willing, we'll talk to each other next week. Bye for now.
You've been listening to Insights with Terri Coutts, and visit her website, terriworld.com, TERRI world.com. And we'll catch you next time